anybody that has tuned into you or knows you knows that you are probably the biggest enemy of fentanyl in the area, and you've done just a phenomenal job of bringing awareness to something that, honestly, until hearing you speak a few times, while I appreciate everything you say, it's terrifying to me, right? But what really started you down that path to awareness, I guess you could say?
Yeah, terrifying is a good word, because it is terrifying. It's terrifying to me as well. Back in 2022, the summertime, we started losing kids at a pretty rapid rate. July and August of 2022, I think we lost 5 Hayes CISD students to fentanyl poisonings. Although I've known about fentanyl for quite some time, but when a community like Hayes County is hit so hard, so quickly, within just a matter of weeks, Sheriff Cutler came to us and said, I want you and your unit to be the face of fentanyl. We need to get out and just talk to people. Go out and ask for 10 minutes, ask for 15 minutes, and just bring as much awareness to what is going on, because we have to stop the dying. We have to stop what's going on in Hayes County. And he told us to make it ours and do what you want with it, but start and go out. And I think we started doing presentations the first week of September 1st-ish, 2022. And we've done probably 150 of these presentations since then.
Wow.
All throughout Hayes County, all throughout Central Texas. We've been to Houston. We're going to Dallas here in a couple of weeks. We went to Kansas for like 4 presentations. Yeah, so we partnered up with the Forever 15 Project. Janel Rodriguez and Brandon Dunn. They lost their 15-year-old son, Noah, who went to Johnson High School on August 21st, 2022. And I met her probably a week and a half after her son's death, just a couple of days after his funeral. She was at a press conference that we were at. We were talking about a formation of a task force, and she was there. And at the time, we knew we were going to start doing these presentations. So I went up and introduced myself to them and said, hey, this is what we want to do. I'd love, if you, whenever you're ready, to come with us and talk to our audiences and tell them your firsthand account of how fentanyl has impacted you, and how it's going to impact you for the rest of your life. And she's never told us no. We've done, like I mentioned a minute ago, 150 of these presentations, and she's been with us through every single one of them. She's gone to Kansas with us. She's gone to Houston with us. She's going to go to Dallas with us. And she continues to travel around the country at times by herself, just giving her testimony and trying to save lives. We're not going to save everybody, but we're trying. As a law enforcement, you want to be Superman. You want to save the world. Over time, I've learned to deal with not being able to do that. But we try every single day. And I think we're making a difference with what we're doing on these fentanyl, just bringing awareness. I don't go into a school and talk to and preach to these kids. I don't talk down to them. We really want to focus on education and awareness, and we want to tell them, we love you. If you're making a mistake, here's what could happen. We know you're dealing with whatever you might be dealing with, anxiety, depression. Your parents might be going through divorce. Whatever stresses you're dealing with, we're here to help with that. And if we can identify that, the chances of us saving you or keeping you from taking that drug, whether it be a pill or whatever else, we're potentially saving lives every time we go and talk to these folks. And every time we leave a school, every time we leave a presentation, our Forever 15 project, Janel, is contacted by many, many kids.
Wow.
Every time we leave a presentation, within the hour, kids are texting her, emailing her, hey, I need help. Hey, I know so-and-so is doing this. Can you help us? Our kids and even adults are reaching out to our anonymous Crime Stoppers. Hayes County has a Crime Stoppers program that's being utilized. All of it together is making a difference, because the numbers have slowly started to go down, although we've already had 2 poisonings this school year. Thank goodness no one has passed away. But it's still here. It's not going anywhere. And all we want to do is to keep that number as close to 0 as possible. I mean, we're losing 200 people a day in this country to fentanyl. So it's a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah,
it's just absolutely staggering. It sounds like somewhere along the way, this went from a project that you were intrigued in, and it became very personal. And I've heard you speak to the stories, right? As soon as you talk to a parent who lost their kid, then it becomes very personal. And unfortunately, it's just kind of dominoes, right? Because you've talked to way too many parents who've lost their kids.
Yep. And that's what I talk about that in my presentation. At some point, we all have to get tired of going to our friend's funeral, At some point, we have to get tired of seeing our friends essentially die in class.
Yeah.
And I tell every audience that I go to, I'm tired. I've been a cop for 25 years. Every time someone passes away from a fentanyl poisoning or any type of poisoning, we have to go to those calls. So I've got to walk in that front door and I've got to see a 15-year-old girl or boy dead in their bedroom. Like, I've seen that way too many times, right? So it's something that I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I signed up to do the job. I'm going to see it and I'll see it again, but I'm tired of seeing it. And I'm also tired of hearing, like, I can't unhear mom or dad screaming bloody murder because their kid's not getting up.
Yeah.
That's a scream that you'll never hear unless you're in that position. It's a horror, it's like a scream you hear in a horror movie. And you can hear that play over in my head at times just because I've heard it way too many. I've seen death way too much in my career. So that's part of the reason I'm passionate about it. I'm also passionate because I do have teenagers.
Right.
It could easily be me telling a story about my kid making this mistake by popping a pill for whatever reason. Great kid. Just like all these kids are great kids. They're making a mistake and they're not waking up from it.
Right.
So I just try to humanize a little bit. I just try to not label them. We have to get rid of the stigma. We have to stop the name calling, and we have to work together to start saving each other.